There are a whole range of it works your whole entire upper and lower body, and you do.
Willy van Straten, founder of Inventec, has been an inventor all his life and always thought out of the box.
We should proceed with the development of this product. And now
together with daughter Andrea, van Straten conceptualizes and develops new product ideas for toys and exercise equipment in South Africa. These are then licensed in the US or Canada for distribution to over 100 countries and then manufactured in China.
Chinese factories are extremely good at what they call process or manufacturing process innovation, because they manufacture in such volume. They're very good at invention and ways to make your product cheaper and for the same functionality. A lot of your Chinese factories has got very, very good service networks or vendor networks around them. So they will manufacture maybe about 1/3 of the product, but 2/3 will come from this vendor network around them, and those vendors specialize just in one item. So in South Africa, you have to go and manufacture almost every item at low volumes, which makes it very, very, very expensive.
Low wages and productivity have been at the center of Chinese industrialization, but rising labor costs are eroding the country's favorable cost base. The latest official inflation figures show minimum wages rose on average 22% in September, despite an engineered slowdown in economic growth. But the Chinese government is doing all it can to ensure local manufacturers maintain their edge.
A lot more goes into it in the form of preferential finance, preferential government procurement arrangements. We see the Chinese premier going from east to west to sign up different protocols to create access for the Chinese industries. We see very focused export promotion subsidies. So if you're a Chinese producer and you want to break into the market, you get all kinds of subsidies because you are now breaking for the first time into Ghana or South Africa or Argentina.
The South African paper and pulp industry, for example, produces 5 million tons of paper and pulp annually. Over and above this, it imports 750,000 tons, or a quarter of domestic demand. Some of these are cheap, opportunistic imports from countries offering supportive trade subsidies. Tanzania has even imposed a 25% import duty, while the South African government offers zero protection to local paper producers.
Some of our members have made applications, and those applications have been rejected. The problem comes where paper and board is actually an intermediary product for further development. So somebody's going to use it for printing or to make a cardboard box. And then the International Trade Administration Commission, that's ITAC, are concerned that they're going to create a knock-on effect. So effectively, the problem is when they don't react quickly enough when it comes to dumping and that sort of problem.
Government has shown more recently, more specifically over the past year or so, a lot more political willingness to become more proactive. How much of that proactive statements will translate to proactive intervention, we still have to see.
Meanwhile, time is running out as the economy is in the grips of deindustrialization. Manufacturing, which once accounted for 22% of GDP, now only contributes 15.5% to GDP. This has translated into significant job losses in the sector, with almost a third of manufacturing jobs wiped out in the last 2 decades. Manufacturing now employs around 1 million people from around 1.5 million in 1990. So what can the South African government do to reverse this trend and create rather than destroy jobs?
And over the past 10 years, we've had 90 million more African coming to cities. And in the next 10 years, we'll have a triple of that. Now, when urbanization takes place, whether it's in Nigeria, in Algeria, South Africa, or China, it means certain demand for certain items, which means various forms of steels, which means copper, which means aluminium, which means a whole host of inputs that urbanization needs. We are pretty sure of that for the next 50 years globally. South Africa has to ask, of those range of items that this pattern of urbanization will need, in which items are we positioned to have sustainable or dynamic comparative advantage?
The challenges are broad and well documented, from high costs and a lack of skilled workers to a persistently strong and volatile currency, and of course foreign counterparts given protection that domestic players aren't. To lure local entrepreneurs like Van Straten back to producing onshore, South Africa should take a feather out of China's cap and urgently implement a consistent and coordinated industrial policy.